Good evening. Happy New Year, and thanks for joining us on this edition of In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WCTV Channel 11. I'm Eric Marsh. Hope you had yourself a great holiday season and that you're looking forward to getting back to work. Okay, I didn't think so. But work is what we do, and work and play sometimes can be intertwined a little bit. We're going to, this evening, have a series of conversations with some of our not-for-profit organizations. We thought that would be a great way to kick off the year. We're going to start things off with Brian Schleeper, who is the director, executive director. What's the official title?
Wayne County Director.
Wayne County Director of Cardinal Greenway.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's backtrack a little bit, give a little history if you don't mind. The Cardinal Greenway is a trail, a series of trails, a trail that runs 62 miles.
That's right.
Through various communities. How much of it is actually here in Wayne County?
There are 62 miles, like you said. There are 22 and a half here in Wayne County. That covers 5 different counties, and we actually have the most trail miles of all the counties here in Wayne County. So.
When did this actually start? I know that there was development and all of that, but when did it start, and how is it run? How is it controlled?
The Greenway was formed as a nonprofit organization in 1993, so we actually just celebrated our 25th anniversary last year.
Congratulations.
So it started in 1993 when they bought the old rail line, which was about 60 miles at the time. And then in 1998, they started building the trail. The first section was built, there's about 10 miles built up in Muncie, and then it just kind of fanned out from there. The first section here in Richmond was built in 2002, and that was from where the trail starts at the D Street Trailhead to Industries Road, not far from here. And then the rest of the section of Wayne County was built in 2012, and that was from Richmond to LaSanteville, and that was actually the last connection of the trail, so it was completely done after that.
The activities that take place on this, let me go back. How is this controlled? How is this run? You're the director of the Wayne County portion of this. Each county that it passes through controls what it is, controls how it's handled?
Yeah, we are a nonprofit, so we're a 501c3. We're a privately run trail system, so we don't get any kind of government support, funding, that kind of thing. We're responsible for all of our fundraising, maintenance, all that stuff. I'm the Wayne County director. There's about 4 miles in Randolph County and about 4 miles in Henry County, so they don't have any, they have some volunteers that work there. And then there's about 22 miles like we have here in Delaware County, which includes Muncie, where our headquarters is at the Muncie Depot. So the rest of the paid employees work out of there. My boss, who's the executive director of the CEO, if you will, of the Greenway, she works there, and our maintenance director, and we have a couple other people. And then the other 10 miles or so are in Grant County at the northern end, and they have all volunteers. So outside of Muncie, myself, and we have a part-time maintenance person here in Wayne County that's a paid employee. We're the only other employees that there are. So the rest of it's done by volunteers.
As with most not-for-profits, is there a board of directors that kind of watches out for things?
There's a board that oversees the whole Greenway. We have a local steering committee that serves very similar to a board, and they have a steering committee in Grant County as well that does the similar kind of things. So there are several local committees, and then there's an overall board based out of Muncie that works with the whole trail.
The activities that take place on the trail, now going back to the question I
Sure.
almost asked 2 minutes ago, biking, roller skating, what's the trail used for?
Biking, running, and walking are probably the biggest 3 things, but every once in a while people ask about rollerblading, which I didn't really think people did anymore. I did that when I was a kid, but we have people do that occasionally. Those are the biggest things. There's up near Muncie, around the Prairie Creek Reservoir, we have some horse trails, but that's the only place where along the Greenway that you can use horses. Other than that, it's mainly running, walking, and biking.
Open year-round?
Open year-round, every day of the year from dawn to dusk. So.
How do you handle maintenance in the snow?
We do not clear the snow, which is kind of a sore spot for some people. We usually get a few complaints whenever it snows, but for a small organization to clear 62 miles worth of trail and snow, it's just not really feasible. So we kind of let it be more natural. You can still use it. I've run out there in the snow. People ride their bikes in the snow. You just have to be a little more careful, but it's very pretty.
Bigger tires,
it's still open.
maybe?
Yeah. Use a mountain bike, that kind of thing, but it's open all year round. So.
How do you, because you're going through some wooded areas where this was, obviously, heavy winds, branches come down, how do you handle clearing for those type of things, and how do you find out that there are problems?
That's probably our biggest task, our biggest challenge, just maintaining and keeping the trail clear. For instance, a couple of weeks ago we had some big storms and there was about 50 trees that came down.
Wow.
So our maintenance volunteers and our staff were busy for the next few days clearing all those trees. And every time there's a storm or we have a lot of rain or sometimes with the snow, it brings down trees and things like that. So we try to get out there and clear it as soon as we can, but it's a big job.
When you think about this trail in Richmond, there's places you can get on and off. How many places are there in Wayne County? Let's just talk about what's happening locally. How many places are there in Wayne County to get on and off the trail?
Yeah, there's a total of 24 trailheads throughout the whole system. We have 8 of them here in Wayne County, and those are spots, like you said, where you can drive to. There's parking, there's bathrooms, there's benches, that kind of thing. But those are kind of the main access points, and we have 8 of those here locally.
Like most not-for-profits, I assume you need money and people.
Yeah, you know all about that, just like I do. But yes,
Sure.
we're responsible for raising all of our funds and for maintaining the trail. So we're always looking for more volunteers. We have a group of about 100 or so volunteers that are great. They put in about 1,500 hours a year, so
Wow.
that's about 30 hours a week, so that's pretty much a part-time employee. So we rely on them to do a lot. They do a great job. We also are responsible for our fundraising, so we're always looking for donations, applying for grants. We have a couple of events. So
Talk about the events that you have. I know one of them is Biketoberfest.
that's our biggest event locally, is Biketoberfest. It's usually in the fall, the end of September, beginning of October, and it's a ride. And this year we actually added a walk and a run to try to open it up to more people, so that was exciting. But
Nice.
The last couple of years we've had almost 400 people, which is kind of the biggest turnout we've had. So it's a pretty big event. We have different distances, and it's a couple of the shorter ones are just on the trail, so you go out and back to certain spots, and then a couple longer distances where you go out the trail, get off the trail, do a little bit on the country roads, and then you get back on the trail and finish. So that's our biggest event, our biggest fundraiser of the year.
Okay. And that normally happens, you said, in fall, normally around October, I
Next
assume.
year, we're already working on next year, or the 2020 edition. It's going to be October 3rd, so put it on your calendar.
Okay. You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're speaking with Brian Schleeper from Cardinal Greenway. A lot of people probably ask, how many people use the trail? I assume that funders are always asking that question. With a trailhead where people can get on and get off whenever they want, what would even be a mechanism for trying to figure that out?
That's a great question, and that's something I get asked a lot. That's something, like you said, a lot of funders ask on grant applications and things like that. We've used a figure that's, I think, 5 or 6 years old. It's kind of an estimate, and so it's probably not all that accurate, honestly. So this summer we actually bought a trail counter system. It's got 3 little units, and they're out there on the trail right now. They've been out there since towards the end of the summer, so I don't have a lot of hard data yet.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out how to kind of determine, just because 100 people passed one spot, what does that mean for the other 61 miles of the trail? So I'm trying to figure that out, but we do have a trail counter system. So next year we'll be able to provide some pretty accurate data about different spots, and hopefully for the whole trail, because they're very easy to move around, so we can put them in different spots and get a better idea of where the people are, which will also allow us to better focus our resources to the spots that get more traffic. So.
How do you normally get information about the people who use the trail? Do people get on the trail, contact you and go, I ran into a problem here, or this is really smooth, or what's your interaction
there are
with the
a number of
users?
ways that people can let us know. We have a website, so people send messages through our website, or they call. I get kind of the plus and the minus. So I actually use the trail a lot. I'm a runner and a biker, so I'm pretty connected with those communities. So people know me and they know I use the trail. So I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of texts from people. I was out and there's a tree down, or this happened, which is great because we need to know that. Mm-hmm. So People let me know, I get emails, phone calls, texts all the time about different issues. They're usually not good, but it's good to know, so we need to know those kind of things so we can get people out there to take care of them. So.
You mentioned up in Muncie that in part of it, they have an equestrian trail. If someone doesn't have a bike, but kind of wants to give it a try, wants to see what it's like, is there a way for them to do that?
Yes, there's a couple different ways. And the Muncie Depot, which is kind of where our headquarters are, they have a loaner bike program. They've got some cruiser bikes. You can just walk in, check one of those out for free, ride it on the trail. I kind of stole that idea here locally a couple years ago, and we got a grant from Reed Health and their community benefit program and partnered with the Cycling and Fitness Warehouse, which is the local bike shop here in Richmond. Mm-hmm. And you can go in there and check out, they have a rental bike program. So what we did was we used the grant funds from Reed to cover the cost of the rental. So you can go into the bike shop, check out a bike, ride it on the trail or elsewhere. We prefer people use it on the trail, but so you can go in, check out a bike, and the cost of the rental is covered by the grant. So it's a free rental program. So that's been really successful. We've done that for about a year and a half, and we've had over 600 rentals. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
Not going to pull you into a political question, but biking as an idea, as an exercise, is it still, I'm not going to say as popular as it was, but is it still a popular way for people to get out and get around? You had 600 rentals last year, so people are doing it. But are people owning their bikes? Are they out there? Are they looking for places to get out and ride?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's frankly, that's one of the reasons we bought the trail counter system, to get a better idea of how many people are out there. I mean, we can kind of guess, but it would be nice to have some actual hard concrete data. So that's one of the reasons we did that. But I based on my personal experience and other feedback I've gotten, the Greenway is very heavily used throughout the system. We're the longest trail in the state of Indiana. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other trails that have already been built, trying to connect to us, or new trails trying to be built to connect to us, because we're a big feeder. So I think that's a positive. But I think that the biking is still a very popular method of transportation. I think some of it may be generational a little bit, but okay. I think people, kind of younger people now, trying to get away from cars a little bit more maybe, and bike a little bit. So,
cool. We got about a little less than a minute left. What haven't I asked you about that you really want people to know about the Cardinal Greenway?
The history of it, I guess, is a little bit. I talked about that a little bit earlier, but it's an old rail line, so it was a train that stopped running in the mid-'80s. It went from Chicago to Cincinnati. It was called the Cardinal Line, which is where we got our name. But it is a rail trail. Last year, we were named to the Rail to Trail Conservancy, which is an advocacy group for trails and rail trails, to their Hall of Fame, so that was a really great honor. This year, we were named kind of part of a project they launched this year called the Great American Rail Trail, which is a plan to build a trail all the way across the country, kind of using existing trails like us and new trails. So that's pretty exciting. It's a big project, but they're a little over halfway there. So that's exciting to be a part of that.
Nice. Brian Sleeper, Cardinal Greenway. Get on it, go for a ride, enjoy yourself. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer when you do that.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more In Focus in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Brian Sleeper, Wayne County Director of the Cardinal Greenway. The Greenway is the longest trail in the state of Indiana at 62 miles, and we have 22 and a half of those here in Wayne County, the most out of all of the counties. The Greenway is free and open to use 365 days a year from dawn to dusk. We have 8 trailheads here in Wayne County where you can access the trail to walk, run, bicycle, or spend time outside in nature. You can find more information on the Greenway at our website, cardinalgreenways.org.
Welcome back to In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're spending this evening talking with some area not-for-profit organizations. Disclaimer moment. My next guest is actually a member of the board of directors of Whitewater Community Television. Actually, she is currently our vice president, so I always kind of get that out there whenever I'm speaking with a member of the board. Melinda Wilson, who is director and founder of the not-for-profit Being a Woman. Now, you might know her from her gallery downtown or her design. How do you do this?
I just change hats. I've always liked wearing hats, so why not change them often?
Okay. Being a Woman started in 2002,
That it did.
I believe, and it is a 501c3. What was the thought process behind this? What kind of got you started with this?
Well, I had attended a large conference in Indianapolis that had 13,000 women the previous year. And at that time, I felt this drawing towards starting one locally on a smaller level, more of an intimate level. And so it's a Christ-centered organization directed towards women, of course, to encourage and empower and enlighten them. So we started February of 2002 organizing our first conference here in the Richmond area. And it has been going strong with other events added over the years.
Your first conference, what was it like? How many days, participants, and is it something that has continued? It
has continued. We've kind of changed it a little bit, but our first conference, as I said, was in 2002, and we had. It's a Friday night, all-day Saturday event when we do the conferences. Okay. So we do more of a Friday night evangelical type of service, and shopping is available for the weekend, as well as ministry and prayer and praise and worship. And then on Saturday, we actually have a shopping arena as well. Door prizes are given, but women loves to shop, so we have to do a combo
I'm glad
here.
you said that, not me, because the calls would be coming in.
I already saw it all over your face. So on Saturday, then, we have more of a teaching style that goes on. So during our first conference, we actually had 6 speakers, and we fly speakers in from all over the country, plus we have local speakers that are there as well and are gifted. One of the key speakers that we have had literally every year, and I may be a little partial, but it is my mother, Melinda Wilson, but she's also part of our board of directors, but she is a woman speaker. So she has been part of it since 2002 as well. But we make it a full weekend event for friendships to develop and an open forum, if you will, for women to just relax and not have to feel like they're, put on guard or have to wear a mask. It's a time to just be, I guess is the best way of putting it.
Okay. Talk a little bit about, you said you've changed it, you've added some things. What type of things have you added, and what kind of changes have taken place, and do you see a continual evolving of this organization? I
do. As we first started, it was basically an annual conference that we would have. Most of our conferences have been held here in the Midwest. We have been invited to come to across the nation to California as well as Michigan area. But we also held 2 conferences in Africa, in Mozambique, Africa. I am a missionary over there, plus I have another organization from the Heart International. So when I was doing my work over there, we combined it and did a women's conference with the local women and local women speakers over there. So it was pretty unique in that aspect. But we have added to just having an annual conference, and we have events throughout the year. So we have book studies, like we have one coming up the end of January, 1st of February. So we'll have a book study held at our headquarters downtown. We have an evening of elegance that we hold in the spring, which is truly a night for women to shine. So there's nothing that's too dressy for it. I mean, if you want to dress to the hilt in evening gowns, or you just feel nice in a nice blouse and a pair of slacks, you come out, you just are treated like a queen. We have ballet, we roll out the red carpet, wow, dinner, music, and then we have a guest speaker for the evening as well as silent auctions for that.
Do you have a date for that?
We do not have a locked-in date. We're going to be locking it in right after the first of the year. We do it around Mother's Day. Okay. So there's a little plug if you want to do something with your family, women in your family around Mother's Day. That's an excellent event to be a part of. Mm-hmm. The third Thursday of every month. We call it Let's Get Together evening, and we just get together, whether it be in local restaurants or we've gone to the movies together, or a pitch in at headquarters, or someone will open their home for that aspect as well. So that's a monthly connection that we do have.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. Every summer we do a worship and walk. So we address the health aspect of the women. So with the worship and walk, we meet on Thursdays, and that's what we do. We have a worship time shortly before we start walking, and then we go for a walk together, and whether it be through Cope Environmental Center, Hayes Arboretum, or the local parks, or Cardinal Greenway. I mean, so those are just a few of the regular series that we do.
Okay.
And then for the past couple of years, rather than having a large conference on a Friday night, Saturday, we actually do a retreat. So we get away. So it's just a great time for women to just get away. We get away for like a Friday night through Sunday afternoon weekend, and we just go and rent a cabin or a house or a lodge, and we have the whole aspect of rest and worship as part of that as well.
Tell me a little bit about Support the Girls. There's a drive and a distribution.
Correct.
Talk about that.
Okay, we had partnered with Support the Girls out of Indianapolis, and it is exactly what it implies. We do a collection for bra and feminine products for women. There are times that those are expenses that are hard to incur. And so we are there to just help during those times when you just need some assistance without having to make a choice. And so we have those available. And we did a collection, a drive, earlier this year. We had great partnerships with Ivy Tech, the Dwyer Center, as well as Big Hill Realty. They set up collection locations in their buildings, and then as well as the Onda Gallery downtown, which is upstairs from our headquarters. And so we had such a great response from the community, and we've had 2 distributions thus this year. We are also doing a distribution now, and just contact us, and we will provide you with either or. If your needs are bras at this time, we've got an array of styles, colors, and sizes, many sizes that it's like wow, and but it's like okay, and those are things that we need, and as a woman it can get expensive, and a young girl, if they're going through just some needs right now, we do have them for all age groups.
You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're speaking with Melinda Wilson, founder and director of Being a Woman. I'm trying to figure out how to ask this in a way. And
Okay.
with all that's going on in the world, with all that's expected, is it harder in some ways for women right now with what the work world, family life, changes in society? Is it harder?
I believe it is. I really do. They really want a connection with other women. And with our schedules being so overwhelming, and I can totally relate to that. I mean, you don't have time for yourselves, let alone to get with other women. And that's what being a woman is. It gives us an opportunity to just provide that commonality, to connect with other women. And, God is our source of, joy and peace, and to be able to bring Christian women together and to be able to say, hey, I'm really going through a hard time. Do you have some women that can pray about it? And we've had people walk in, and we actually have a prayer room at our headquarters, which we're at Specialty Records, and so it's a soundproof room. If people are from the area, they'll remember Specialty Records downtown.
I've heard the name.
Okay, so in our lower level, which is our Being a Woman headquarters, we actually turned the soundproof room where they would listen to records and the new song of the on the charts,
Sure.
And we transformed that into a prayer room. And so the women will come and they'll just, enter that room just for, to meditate on His Word, or to just pray, or to join in prayer with another woman. And it just gives a peace there. And, and just women can't maybe come to everything that we have, which is totally understandable, but at least we have different facets that would be of interest to different women. And it's totally non-denominational, it's Christ-centered, and we actually have a daily or regular texting program or setup that we have right now that the women, if they have a prayer request, they'll send it to. And just before I actually came here today, there was a woman that responded on that prayer group and just said, I just truly appreciate the support that I get here. And it just is good to have that connection. And and that's just a verbatim. That's not word for word, but that's what she says. And just hearing that, just a daily touch, that they're being thought of, or that we're planning something for women to connect and just to be together. It's just like it's all worth it.
How does the organization sustain itself? Are you looking for donations? I assume you charge for your conference, but how do you make this work?
We actually do accept donations to help the women in your community, and that's what we're doing. We're helping women in the community and business people or individuals. We've received donations from both of those avenues, and it gives them an opportunity to reach out and help the women in the area through the organization. We also give sponsorship opportunities for the events that we have, like our retreat. We just did a retreat the 1st of November. I went to Whitewater State Park, rented out the cabins down there, and it gave an opportunity for sponsorships to come through for that. We offer scholarships for maybe someone that they would love to come, but financially they're in a position they can't. We do have a scholarship program for those that can be provided through the sponsorships, as well as silent auctions. So yeah, it's a nonprofit, so it's a 501c3. So we are definitely ran off of donations that we receive nationwide, and we appreciate all that we'd like to give to that.
If someone wants to make a connection with you, your Evening of Elegance, something along those lines,
Sure.
How do they make that connection? Where do they find you?
Okay, currently our Facebook page is the best source of information. We have the event page going on there. We have regular communications that come out through there. They can also get on our email list as well, because we send out a newsletter, so they can connect with me at director@bawconference.com and just let me know, hey, I would like to be a part of this or learn more about it, and then we will put you on the email list and you will be able to be contacted through newsletters. And they can also, we do have a telephone. It's a joint number with all 4 businesses in the building, but it's okay. I operate all 4 of those businesses. So you're going to get me or somebody else from the board, and the number is 765-935-9717.
Okay. Melinda Wilson, founder, director of Being a Woman. Thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Well, thank you, Eric. I really appreciate it.
We'll be back with more In Focus in just a moment.
The Independent Living Center of Eastern Indiana empowers people with disabilities through advocacy, information and referral, independent living skills, peer support, and transition. We're supported by the state of Indiana, Reed Community Benefits, United Way, Wayne County Foundation, First Bank, U.S. Bank, and individual donors. For more information, give us a call or see us online.
Welcome back to In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. I'm Eric Marsh. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you're learning a little bit about some of the not-for-profit organizations that are housed here in Wayne County. We are going to turn to one that is very popular and a lot of people do know some things about, but it's always changing, it's always evolving. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Wayne County.
That's correct.
Which for some people may seem like an interesting name. They're used to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Richmond, but you all have expanded out through the years so much that you're really encompassing a lot of Wayne County.
Yeah, absolutely. We have 5 locations, which includes 4 here in Richmond and then 1 in Hagerstown as well, which is why we opened up to be of Wayne County.
Kate Glen is our guest. Kate is the marketing coordinator for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Wayne County, and you've been in that position for how long?
I've been there 3 months. It's been a whirlwind experience, but it's very, very fun.
Are you a former Boys and Girls Club person from?
No, I'm not. I just got my master's degree in arts administration, so I had a lot of courses in marketing and fundraising, and so that was really great for coming home and being able to be a part of an excellent organization.
Nice. Talk a little bit about where these 5 units are and how the students get to them.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our main unit is our Jeffers unit, which is out on L Street. We have our brand new McDaniel unit, and our teen center now is there as well at the McDaniel unit. That's out on West Main. We have Central unit is out at Central United Methodist Church, and we have our Fairview unit as well. Students then can be bused there from their schools directly to the Boys and Girls Club locations that are nearest them, which is really exciting. And of course, we have our unit out in Hagerstown as well, at the elementary school there, or you can be dropped off, you can walk there. It depends just the location and how easy it is to get you there. But we do provide busing for all of our people if they need it.
Do the kids go to the same unit every day or every time they visit, or do they kind of go in between them?
So yes and no to both of those. You have a club that's your home club, and that's the one that you will register for. You'll go through orientation with that club, and that's your home club. That being said, we do a lot of different things. So right now it's the holiday season, and we have our locations are going to get together for a holiday party at the Skate, and they're all going to join together. We do our teens will migrate to our teen center, regardless of what their home club was. We do a lot of joint programming that will bus kids to different units, particularly going to Jeffers unit because it is our largest and our home one. So yes, they get into different clubs, but for the most part, you have your one base home unit.
When you talk about kids being involved with Boys and Girls Club, how early and how old does it go?
6 is our earliest to be in, and then it goes all the way up till 18, so getting out of high school.
Okay. And the teen unit in particular, I assume there's an age. Is it 13? Is it 12? Is it?
Yep, it's 13 and up, and we're also doing work with tweens then, so our 10s to 12s. At Central Unit, we have a tween night every second Thursday of the month for them. Teen nights run once a month. You can follow when they are and what's going to pop up with them on our Facebook page. We post all that information there. But yeah, the Teen Center is actually a really new initiative to really create a separate space, and it's one of the first times we've had a large enough group of teens to be able to do this. So it's really an exciting endeavor.
When you say a large enough group of teens, how many are you kind of working with right now? I know you all are really good at knowing the numbers.
Yeah. So we're working at about 15 to 20 core teens that are there for these events, which is really exciting. But we're servicing a whole lot more. We have over 700 kids every day going through all 5 units. So this is the first time, though, that we're really kind of hanging on to them as they're getting older.
Okay. Talk a little bit about your upcoming annual dinner. A lot of people are used to the Smart Futures dinner, which actually takes place in the fall. But this one you've got coming up here in January.
Yeah, January 16th is our annual dinner. It's going to be at Forest Hills Country Club at 5:30. You can check out again our Facebook page, has the information for that event there. And that's really, it's a dinner to celebrate everything that we've done in 2019. We're going to talk about all of our volunteers who have been there and all the excellent work they've done. We're going to talk about all of the things our programs have achieved, all of those statistic numbers that everybody likes to see in here to show that we've got success, like real success working with our youth. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to honor some exciting programs and exciting people while we're there. So it's kind of a year-end celebration, even though it's occurring kind of at the front of the year.
Kate Glen, Marketing Coordinator for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Wayne County, is our guest here on In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. When you think about success with kids, how do you all kind of measure that? What are you looking for? What are you looking to hear from maybe not only the kids, but the parents?
Yeah, so it's really interesting how you quantify that there's been change in a life, right? How do you quantify growth? Schools try and do it with tests and everything. We really want the kids to come and have an experience, and we want them to grow and develop. So we chart some of the regular things we chart. Their responses to beginning and end surveys. We chart the number of students who have gone through programs. We chart their progress as they move through school and their academic success. We chart graduation rates for our students as we look at that. But we also really love to hear just feedback from parents. We ran during Thanksgiving a marketing objective, sorry. So we ran during Thanksgiving a marketing campaign where we actually took some parent feedback and posted that to show how they were thankful for our programs, because a lot of times the kids come every day and they have their behaviors that they have their lives that they have, and they're growing and they're moving, and it's sometimes really hard to notice that we're making a difference, but the parents absolutely see it and they share it with us all the time, which is really exciting.
Cool. How are kids first introduced to the Boys and Girls Club? Is it something that's introduced to them through the school? Is it something that's introduced to them through friends? How is that connection generally made? I'm asking, there was no Boys and Girls Club in the community that I grew up in. How is that first connection made?
Yeah, absolutely. We have recruiters that go into the schools. We have people who go into the schools and interact with the kids all the time and pass out information. We also have a lot of referrals. We have a lot of families who their children are in, and so their friends' families, as they're coming up, will then join as well. And we do an extensive marketing campaign. We have our billboards. We have our website that runs. We have parents who are calling in and checking with us all the time. One of the reasons it's really successful and really parents want to get involved in it is we only charge $15 a year for all of our child care services. And I mean,
Wow.
In Indiana, the average for that is closing in on $9,000 a year. So it's a huge savings to parents to really know that they've got quality aftercare programs that aren't just like putting on a movie and letting the kids hang out, but are doing tutoring with them, that are letting them play games in the gym, that's really helping them grow and build characters, and for just an incredible savings.
As the kids go through the program, what's your turnover that you see? I mean, some kids starts at 6, okay, they only do the year, they come back. This is almost like the 4-H question, whether they make it to 10 years or not. Are you seeing good numbers continuing to come back year after year?
Yeah, well, so this is, again, what was really exciting about our McDaniel Teen Center is we're really finally seeing kind of that hanging on of students going all the way through and not falling off when they get into high school, and there's so many other things to do at the high school that they still very much value their club experience and want to keep going with that. We really want a success rate of a student coming at least once a week to kind of make sure that they're engaged and they're here and that this is really kind of an active part of their lives. So that's how we would definitely measure that. We have lots of other opportunities too for our teens as they move through. We have opportunities for them to work at the club and really get their first job experience. We have mentorship opportunities for them as they move through. So we're really working on that so that the club grows with the child.
How does what happens at the Boys and Girls Club change from the school year, where I'm sure some of the after-school programs you mentioned, tutoring, classroom help, things of that nature. How does it change from the fall into the summer?
Yeah, well, the day lasts a lot longer in the summer. We get them for most of the day. And in the summer, it's really, we do focus on outdoor activities. We have a summer camp that we actually run, Camp Guy, and youth can go there and spend a week. They can spend a couple days. We do some field trips out there to get them outdoors and doing things. But we still have that academic focus and that academic success. We have our AM Power Up program that students can join, and that works on math and science concepts, that works on art concepts. So all of those things, they kind of retain the information that they gained in the school year throughout the summer.
How do you make that connection with the teachers so that you all know that what you're working on after school is building on what they've done during the day?
Well, we have several teachers actually who come and volunteer as tutors at the Boys and Girls Club, so that's really fantastic. We have a lot of connection within there. We also have a really great trained staff that understands education and understands standards and really understands the connections within the schools. They also get in those schools and they talk to the teachers, they talk to the kids in the schools. They spend time in the areas that they're going to work on.
You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're spending this hour talking with some of the area not-for-profit organizations. Kate Glen is with the Boys and Girls Club of Wayne County. You mentioned Camp Guy. Most of what you have mentioned is here in Wayne County. Camp Guy actually is outside of the county a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little out there. And it's kind of exciting because a lot of kids, it's really their first real rural experience, right? Because we're here in Richmond, and while it's kind of a rural surrounding community, it's really kind of the first time that a lot of those kids get out in the woods and get to run around and play and be in streams.
Nice. What's the general reaction for that you've heard from some of them about that particular experience? Because, you know, for some, the woods is really kind of a strange thing.
Yeah. I think it's mostly joy, though. I think it's a lot of fun. We really present it in a very open and friendly way. We have lots of activities that they can do also, like archery and all those kinds of outdoor skill building, and we introduce it to them, a lot of them when they're very young. So we'll take 6-year-olds out there for a day and for an afternoon. And so I really think they just really enjoy being out there in the green and the sunshine.
Volunteers. If somebody has moved into the area, they did Boys and Girls Club wherever they came from, they think it's a marvelous experience, maybe they want to help you all out. Obviously, they're working around kids, so there are rules, restrictions, things they have to go through, but how do you connect with people who want to volunteer and help you out?
Yeah, absolutely. If you or somebody wants to volunteer, you should check out our website. We have a page on there about volunteering, and it explains kind of what our expectations are and really the kind of benefits that you can get for yourself and for the youth of Wayne County, and that has our volunteer application form there. We're really looking for people to dedicate 5 hours a week to come in and work with some teens, work with some youth. You don't have to have been to a Boys and Girls Club before. If you have that passion and you know that you have something worthwhile that you want to share, then we want you in our facility. We want the children making as many authentic connections as they can with different people.
What is the biggest need the Boys and Girls Club has right now?
I think our biggest need in terms of volunteering is teen mentors. We really need people to come in who are going to help our teens in our impact program look at careers as they're moving forward and really talk them through that search. So we're looking for career professionals to donate some of their time to working with teens.
Nice. Kate Glen, Boys and Girls Club of Wayne County. Thank you very much for spending the time and updating us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with our last segment of In Focus in just a moment.
Girls Inc. of Wayne County inspires all girls to be strong, smart, bold.
Through interactive girls-only programming.
Kindergarten through 8th grade. Come join us at Girls Inc.
And welcome back to In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. Thanks for staying with us as we continue our look at some of the area not-for-profit organizations. Now we're going to talk about ICAP, right?
Yes.
The easiest way to say it, Interlocal Community Action Program. I have Angela Schmang and Staci Eales with me. Am I close?
Yes.
Am I good?
Correct.
Okay. Staci is a state navigator. And Angela is the EAP supervisor for Wayne County. And for those who don't know, EAP is?
Energy Assistance Program.
Okay, that's one of the things we're going to talk about. But let's start, just explain to people what ICAP is.
We are Interlocal Community Action Program. We have multiple different programs in Wayne County. Our main office is in Henry County, where we have more programs. And then we have other counties that we do work from. We have an energy assistance program, car seat technicians, family development, covering kids and families, and IDA accounts.
Did you say car seat technician?
Yes.
Okay, we weren't going to cover that, but
Sorry.
go. What's no? You've piqued my curiosity. Car seat technician. What is that?
It is where we can have somebody come out and we can look over your car seat that you have prior to see if there needs to be any adjustments to how it is buckled in or harnessed, make sure your child is the right height and weight for that car seat, look to see if there's any out of date, if it's recalled or anything like that. And then if there is a need and we have it, we can actually replace that car seat and then help you apply that into your vehicle to be safe for those children.
Wow, nice. People probably don't realize, I assume, that there are rules and regulations for how big a child needs to be,
Yes.
things for the car seat. Can you rattle off a couple of those that people just really need to be aware of when they're doing it? A lot of first-time parents don't know, don't think about it. They just think, okay, I'm just going to grab a car seat, stick it in, and go.
Yeah.
And that's not really the way this works.
Well, I'll let
The main problem we see is the kids aren't buckled in properly or the car seat's just not installed correctly.
Okay.
So they need that extra step.
or they feel like the child's big enough to be out of a car seat. And basically, if you're not supported throughout your neck area and down, and if the seatbelt doesn't hit you directly here, then the child does need to be in a booster still, something that's going to keep them up and where their neck and head and everything is protected. So,
Are there, generally speaking, weight, height limits, or is this just kind of an eyeball as long as the car seat, as long as the buckle looks good?
It's mainly based on the child and the seats and the vehicles.
yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. I knew I kind of threw you that curve, but you threw that out there, and I had to travel that road with you. Partnership, covering kids and families of Indiana. Obviously, insurance, a lot of people think immediately of HIP, but there are other things associated with that. Talk a little bit about what that is.
Okay, we can help you apply for HIP, Here's Your Health Wise for Children, or traditional Medicaid, which would be for the age, disabled, Q&B. If people are on Medicare Part B, we can help apply for the state to pay that Part B premium. We can also do the federal marketplace insurance. We will do the application with the client, turn all documents in, make sure everything is processed correctly, and follow through to see if they were approved, denied, any problems going on, or help along the entire step.
The numbers for those programs, there's a lot of people you hear that aren't covered by health insurance. Are there people still not getting the word that they have the ability to have it?
Yes.
And aren't knowing about it?
Yes, there's, I think, still about 3,000 in Wayne County alone that are uninsured.
You think there's about 3,000 people in Wayne County who you think you could help?
Correct.
Okay. How would they know? What do people need to be thinking about before they pick up the phone to call you and go, you know, I think I'm eligible for health insurance. I think I'm eligible for HIP. I think I'm eligible for something else. How would someone know?
They just need to get their last 30 days of gross income in the household figured and call us, and we can look at the income and then the income guidelines and say yes or no.
Okay. There was the work rules that were put into place, temporarily suspended from what I
Correct.
understand.
Yes.
Any idea when those might kick back in? What are you all hearing?
We're not hearing anything right now. We're still recommending that people go on and log the hours. That way they are still in the system and they're getting used to logging them, and we can help show them how to log.
If they need your help, if you need to show them, do you all have a physical facility?
Yes, we do. We are located at 56 South 2nd Street, across from the Medicaid and food stamp office in the same building.
Okay. The energy assistance program that you're involved with, it's already cold outside.
Yes.
Obviously, we're already into winter, well into winter. Is there still time for people to sign up if they need help paying their energy bills?
Yes, it starts November 1st is our start date, and then it goes until May 15th as long as we still have funding. So it's to help with that primary heat source in the winter that's high. So we give our main benefit to that primary heat source. So yeah, if you have a crisis where you're disconnected or up for disconnect, you can call and make an appointment, and we can get you in to help you with that. If you're just needing the majority of just regular help, you can pick up an application or have it mailed out to you and drop it off at your convenience.
All of what we're talking about, for the most part, has some income guidelines.
Yes.
Can you provide us with some general information as to what incomes people need to be looking at or thinking about before they call you?
So we do take all kinds of income. We don't count child support as one. It's we go off of like Social Security, SSI, employment, TANF. We do count those income guidelines. I know for one person in a household, we go back for 3 months worth of income, and that's $5,209. So you just have to kind of calculate 3 months of income to make sure you qualify. So.
Is the Energy Assistance Program one of your biggest programs, one of the biggest things that you work on?
Yes, it is.
Over the last few years, you've been doing this how long?
4.5 years.
Are you seeing the numbers of people who need assistance in Wayne County up, down, any changes?
It is increasing every year. I think getting the word out, being able to meet with other resources and organizations within the counties, we get those word out to each of those and they can pass that along. We meet with trustees' offices, making sure when they come in, there's kind of like a rule, like they go to us first, then they can go to the trustee's office, and then like the Salvation Army, Open Arms Ministries, so that they can get all the help they can through everybody and it kind of go in a chain. Yeah, sorry.
You're okay. You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're speaking with Staci Eales and Angela Schmang, who are working with the ICAP, easiest way to say it. Family development was something else that you all mentioned to me before we went on the air, but we didn't have a chance to really find out what it is. What is that, and what are you helping people do? Am I right with the family development?
In the gist, it's a program that works with the clients to either a single or family to help them set goals for themselves, and we help through support and resources to help them reach those goals to self-sufficiency.
Okay.
So.
Classes?
We can help them get in, we can help them get enrolled in 2 classes to go back to school, help them with budgeting, hook them up with somebody that might be able to do their taxes, help them find places to live, get them those resources like covering kids and family, car seats, we can help them like that way. If there's something else they're needing and there's a resource in the community, we make sure that we get that information to them, and we're with them the whole way through it.
Are people aware that you all exist and what it is that you do?
Not of all of our programs,
No.
no. They know it's just for energy assistance.
How does that word spread? How is it that, because these are state-funded programs, so
Yes.
the dollars are there, the assistance is there if there are people in need, and you're telling me there are people in need. So as a community, what do we do to help people get this assistance? Because it, in the long run, ends up helping them if they're able to do that. It helps everybody if people are
Yes.
covered by insurance and aren't filing bankruptcy and doing that kind of thing. So how do we help direct the information and the people to you?
Just getting the word out and passing the word along, and this will help tremendously.
Yes.
Okay. You've been doing this for how long, Staci?
I've been with ICAP 2 years.
Okay. What have you seen during that time as far as being able to help people, and what made you get into this business?
Wanting to help people more. I worked on the other end of it, and I saw what people were going through, and I decided.
You worked on the other end of it. What does
I
that
worked
mean?
for the Division of Family Resources.
Okay.
So I'd done the Medicaid interviews and all of that. So I decided that I needed to change pace, and I wanted to do this.
You've been at this for 4.5 years. What made you decide to go into this, and are you getting fulfilled by it?
I am. This job has really changed my life for the most part. Being able to help people, it's just it's amazing to be able to get those resources to these people that don't know that they're out there, or even if they can qualify for them, because a lot of people don't think, well, you have to be dirt poor, and that's not the case. You know, there's a lot of people in middle class that will qualify, that are right there living paycheck to paycheck, that is able to get these resources. So that's the most thing, is getting it out there and helping these people. So.
We've got a couple of minutes left. We've talked about the insurance. We've talked about the family, the energy assistance program real quickly. What am I missing? you all do more than even what we've talked about.
Yes.
Give me one or two, if we have time, again, programs, assistance programs, ways that you can help people stretch their dollar and survive what's going on around us.
Well, one of the programs that we have is an IDA account, which is an individual development account. It's actually a savings account for people. You have to be employed and you have to be income qualified, like most of our programs. So what it is you will save $1,500 over 3 years. We match $3 to $1. That money can be, yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, for every dollar.
Let's take a step back. Let's do this one more time. You teach people or you help people save $1,500 over 3 years.
They will be saving us an average about $45 a month over 3 years, and it averages out to $1,500. We match $3 to every dollar that they save. That money can only be used to either purchase a vehicle, purchase a home, start a small business, or go back to school. So but by the time you're done, you're walking away with $6,000. So, and you're only saving $1,500.
I've never heard of that.
Yes, but it is for individuals that are working and that are qualified. It's usually around the 200% poverty guidelines. I know a lot of people don't know that, but it's easy to call and we can find out if you qualify.
If somebody needs to get in touch with you and you just said call,
Yep.
Where do they call?
They would call the Wayne County office. It's 765-488-2416.
Okay. Is there a website that they can go to and find out some information and do some reading also?
www.icapcaa.org.
Okay. Ladies, thank you all very much. We will try to have you back and stay updated on things happening with you. We're talking to Staci Eales and Angela Schmang with ICAP. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break and be back with more In Focus in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Sherry Harlan Davis, program host for Read Beside You. Join us on our next episode where our guest will be Candace Hunt, Indiana raper, and the topic will be vaping.
It takes sometimes years for damage to really rear up and show itself. So,
join us Thursday, 8 o'clock, Channel 20, WETV.
I want to thank my guests again for being part of today's show. And remember, if your not-for-profit organization has an event coming up, get us a flyer at least 2 weeks ahead of time. Send it to WCTV at iue.edu. We'll make sure to get it on. A couple of things to remind you of. The 121st Annual Exhibition of Richmond and Area Artists is going on at the Richmond Art Museum through January 4th. Also, Art for the Holidays continuing at the Richmond Art Museum. That again until January 4th. Visit richmondartmuseum.org if you need more information. Hayes Arboretum on January 3rd is having a PB Bird Feeders event and celebrate National Bird Day by creating a peanut butter feeder. Check out hayesarboretum.org if you need some information on that. The Richmond Parks and Recreation Department are having fall floral division classes at the greenhouse a lot of times. Landscape design and installation is the next one. It's taking place on January 16th at 6 p.m. Reservations and donations are appreciated. Phone number is there on the screen. And you can also check out the Salvation Army Thrift Store Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with a lot of daily specials. They're located at 520 South 5th Street. And also, don't forget, you can volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club. Check out bgcrichmond.org/volunteer for more information on that. Next week's program is going to be an interesting one. We'll have some of the superintendents from the Wayne County area schools talking to us. Join us. That will be a live In Focus program beginning at 6 p.m. It'll also be available on Facebook Live as we go through it, and we will be taking your questions. Thanks for watching this week's In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11.